Hey guys, per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. So we did not break north of the inverted head and shoulders neckline. Let's talk about it. I'm not too excited about it, but it is what it is. You gotta trade the chart that's in front of you. Play the hand that you're dealt, as they say. So let's go high time frame as possible, monthly. We were talking about this massive dragonfly type doji bullish reversal. Now, really, it confirms on a candle above the doji, the body. Basically, you want a green body that's above the previous body. In this case, whatever this level is, 90, 99 probably, I don't know. Currently, it doesn't look too great. It's March 8th. We've got some time. Something to watch for. Weekly cloud, Bitfinex. Again, we're banging on this pivot, yearly pivot. The resistance is real, folks. We are back at the Kijun-esque-ish, slight amounts of hopium in that call. But we're not, we're not down here. We're certainly in the range we've been. I wouldn't get too excited either way at this point. I'm fully prepared to take evasive action should it be necessary if we reach for 3K, which is where this other yearly support is above the cloud. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't think it'll happen. Honestly, don't care if it'll happen. Like I said, you just gotta trade the chart that is put in front of you. We had a window of possible bullishness that came and went, and we looked the other way. We turned the other cheek. Okay, so now we gotta think what's next, what's on the docket here. Here's 3-day, going into the cloud. Again, clear opportunity for a bullish recross here on the TK cross. Didn't happen. We could be exiting the 3-day cloud for the first time in over a year or more. I'd have to check. It's probably a year and a half. If this falls below the cloud goes red, TK cross is already red. The bearish signs will be adding up. Not excited about it, but it is what it is. And you couldn't really say it was completely bearish, even now it's not bearish. It's more neutral than bearish, I think. You can give me crap for that, that's fine, but that's just what I'm seeing. On these oscillators, it's a little messy, but so Stoke showing a bearish type cross. Now it's got to sort of break this plane. I mean, it can cross, recross, just trend. It can do one of these things. I'm not a fan of Stoke personally, but that's, I don't like seeing this as we're exiting cloud, okay, to the downside. The other thing is MACD was neutral, was flipping green, and it didn't. It's re-flipping bearish. I kind of read this as like a bearish TK recross below the cloud type situation, where it's just some bear signals starting to add up here. Here's the daily, and you can pretty clearly see, I don't care what you call it. I'm going to call it a head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder, yearly pivot, heavy resistance, and heavy resistance again. Not only that, but it was at the Kijun. We didn't even make a higher high here on the wick. And it just got ugly real quick. There was nothing we could do. We couldn't save him. And the 5200 hasn't crossed bearish yet. Hopefully it won't. We're still above the 200. You can see the slope of the 200 as well tells you a lot. Currently it's basically flat. Very similar to the Kijun. If the Kijun is straight up, that tells you that there's heavy momentum. If it's flat, that tells you we're probably ranging. And in this case we're ranging between basically the yearly pivot and the 200 EMA. Here's the 12-hour. You can see we had this really weird like cloud inside following, and then edge-to-edge thing, and then another edge-to-edge thing. Generally, I wouldn't trade on this time frame. It's just, if you want to gamble and go, oh yeah, another edge-to-edge, I don't see it, but it might happen. I wouldn't chance it if it were me. If it were my money on the line. You can see here the 5200 is crossed bearish. We had a potential, again, to cross bullish. Didn't happen. Basically, again, as well, a Kumo breakout didn't happen. Let me go back to the head and shoulders real quick. I was talking about this. So previously we had shoulder, head, shoulder, and we broke that and ended up breaking down anyway. Currently we have shoulder, head, shoulder, potentially breaking this, and may go bullish anyway. We'll see what happens. Basically, this yearly pivot is a 20 million mile wall. For some reason, whatever it is, this was here January 1st, and this is how this played out. So, spooky action at a distance, as they say. Here's the 4 hour. We've got a nice div that we built for ourselves here. So we're getting a higher low, lower low momentum that just says bears tried really hard and didn't bring it down farther than it was previously. That's why it's a divergence. Cloud's a bit of a garbly mess, but that's a good thing because that tells you when to get in and out of these trades much easier and cleaner. So currently it's definitely leaning heavily bear. It's below the cloud here. Cloud is neutral-ish, but I don't see any entries on this. Definitely a flag pennant thing building. This could easily just keep going down. Definitely leaning bear on this time frame. Just because I was talking about fractals a lot lately. You can see we had a bullish Kumo breakout here. That's a long entry signal. Everything else is already bullish. Maybe not cloud, but it was, within reason here. So we're bullish, stops here, still bullish, stops here, stops here, stops here, and we get stopped out shortly thereafter. It's not a massive trade, but it's still a winning trade pretty heavily. Probably $2,000, something like that. Then you're just out. You're either back in on the Kijun or not. That's up to you. This is a better signal. The TK recross above the cloud. Bullish, bullish, bullish. Stop here, and you get stopped out. Again, not a great trade, but not a losing trade. Right now, like I said, leaning bear. Here's Finex. This is with the pitchfork I've been talking about for a year probably now. This is the median. See, things aren't grim, okay? Look folks, things aren't that grim. We're within the range of the pitchfork. This is the 1618 wing extension. You can see anytime we've generally been in that zone, it's been reversal, and I expect the same here. If we get that low, if we break below that, then that's a different story. But this is your highest risk reward, if for short or closing, buying spot or going long, that sort of thing on that other side. Here's a different version of that. The anchor's closer to the original anchor, and you can see this actually fits almost better for the current stuff, just because we go above the median line, go to the wing, pull back, median line, wing, pull back, and then we didn't pull back enough, which is, I've talked about this before, kind of weird. And then we just catapulted nonsense, and maybe that was tether. Maybe that was tether. Maybe we didn't land on the moon. I don't know. And we're back in this now. It actually looks pretty decent back at the median line. Not too crazy. You can't really find any massive... I should have checked this on lower time frames, but at least on the daily, it's too early to say if this is going to be real. But if it is, we're going to hit the median line of this at some point. And then lastly, this is 15-minute BitMEX, just because they have the highest volume of any exchange. You can see a semi-wedging thing. This is a bearish continuation pattern. Call it a rising wedge. Definitely don't expect these to break up, but in crypto, things change. You never know. Definitely a failed Adam Eve here. We failed to break that horizontal. That's all I have on this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter, and happy trading.